No matter how excited you are about practicing your instrument, and let's face it, most of us are not, if there isn't a proper structure and a goal in mind, excitement can only take you this far before you feel burned out and frustration kicks in. In this video we will talk about how to structure your practice, how to allocate the time and energy, and I'm also going to give you a ready formula that you can use and apply to your daily practice routine. What's up everyone, Evgeny Genchev here, and this is Sweet Struggle. On here I share my knowledge and experience both as a performer and as a teacher to help you on your musical journey. Before we go on though, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and click that bell icon so that you never miss a video. Also, I've just launched a new Patreon page with lots of cool perks, live streams, Q&As, behind the scenes, practice sessions, one-to-ones, early access to videos, and much more. Go and check it out, and if you sign up now, there'll be a special reward waiting for you. I will leave a link in the description. Now, back to the video. Having a well-structured routine can make the difference between you being stuck in one place and you showing steady progress. So it's really essential that you take a little bit of time away from the instrument and think about this. What are your goals and what are the things that you need to address in order to achieve them? Now more than ever, it is essential to utilize the time and make the most out of this lockdown. And if you're participating in the Sweet Struggle 14-day challenge, which you really should be, then this is even more relevant. I want you to do as well as you can. So let's get to it.
I accept your challenge.
So let me give you the ready formula, which you can then customize depending on what are your needs, level, and repertoire. This can be seen as your regular practice diet. You know, like when you go to the gym and you exercise, but let's say you're not necessarily preparing to appear on the cover of Men's Health. I'm not quite sure what is the female equivalent of this, so I apologize to the ladies for my ignorance. So in music standards, that would be the equivalent of preparing for a concert or a competition or something of that sort. So when you're just working on polishing your skills and developing on your instrument, this is what you should be following. First one, do your warm-up. Practice your scales, thirds, sixths, tenths, arpeggios, all that stuff. This is your bread and butter. If you're struggling with them, I've made a couple of videos on these topics, so make sure to check them out. I'll link them below. Second on the list is sight reading. You don't need to do too much of it, but you need to make sure that you do it daily. Be consistent with it. You won't become amazing at sight reading from one whole day of sight reading. Just keep calm and simply sight read. If you feel like, you can interchange number 1 and 2, as sight reading can be also an effective way to warm up. If you're learning new repertoire, which totally should be part of a healthy practice diet, then this is your number 3 on the agenda. This is where the most energy for the day should go. The fourth item on your daily practice routine menu is existent repertoire, or things that you already are playing at a good level, things that are already more or less in your fingers. Then last but not least is technical exercises. You may say, but I already did my scales. Sure you did. If scales are something that you're struggling with and you need to emphasize, then you should do some more scales. What you can put in this segment of the practice is anything that addresses an issue or, let's say, an element of your technique that you want to improve. If you would like to get better at playing octaves and it's something that you're struggling with, then you practice some octaves. If it's chords, then some chords. You get the idea. Now the last segment can be also put as third or fourth, but personally I prefer it to be at the end. The reason I put this last is because for all the other stuff you need more of a sharp concentration and emotional involvement. For this one you need to be attentive and aware of what you're doing, but you don't necessarily need to be at your full mental capacity. So if you put it earlier, at least in my experience, this takes away from the effectiveness of the previous items. Back when I was at the academy, I would spend the day going from practice room to practice room, and then towards the end of the day, when I was already mentally and emotionally spent, I would start practicing the technical stuff. Now, how much time should you spend on each of these things? What should be the proportion or ratio of the macros in your diet? Different people have different needs and various time that they can spend with their instrument. So you can take this as a general guideline and you can adapt it to your situation. About 8 to 10% of your practice time should go for scales and miscellaneous, 10 to 12% for sight reading, then 40% new repertoire, 30% current repertoire, and technical exercises and miscellaneous can be for the last 10%. Or to make it a bit more real for you, if you were to spend 5 hours practicing your instrument, then the first hour will go for sight reading and scales. Then 2 hours for your new repertoire, 1.5 hours for your existing repertoire, and then the last half hour for technical bits and bobs. Now, this is a general guideline. It is not a rule, so you can take it as a suggested prescription for a healthy diet. You can adjust it to your current needs. Plenty of times I've used a completely different configuration for my daily practice routine, depending on what period I was in and what I needed to learn or prepare for. But this can be used as a reminder for an overall structure that you can follow. I know you much prefer to play rather than practice, and I can totally relate to this, but a productive practice is what enables a great performance. I hope you found this useful and this helps you to extract more out of the time spent with your instrument. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and click that bell icon so that you never miss a video. Also, remember to check out my new Patreon page. It would be super awesome to have you join the community, and I would really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, keep the social distancing, be calm, practice, and I'll see you in the next one.